Right now at 10, a race against time for Warren's first responders. How a lightning strike almost led to a chemical catastrophe. And Wisconsin's Department of Public Instruction taking a stand, the request they're rejecting, and the potential fallout. Plus, what we're learning about the victims in the Florida State campus shooting, and a survivor relives the moment the gunman opened fire.
Watching WKBT La Crosse, this is News 8 Now at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Ken Kozorowski. Emily is off tonight. A dangerous situation at a Warren's cold storage building this morning. A lightning strike set the back half of Warren's cold storage on fire with one person inside. Firefighters battled the blaze for 6 hours and safely evacuated the individual. Crews were able to contain the fire from spreading to the floor below, which was full of hazardous materials. No injuries reported, though both Warren's cold storage and the nearby American Berry Company building have significant smoke and water damage. The Wisconsin Department of Justice has canceled a silver alert for a missing Sparta man. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office confirms 76-year-old David Wolf has been found dead. Authorities on January 21st triggered a statewide silver alert for Wolf, who had not been seen since the middle of January. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is upholding Governor Tony Evers' partial veto to increase school funding for 400 years. Back in 2023, Evers partially vetoed a section of the state budget to increase school funding by $325 per student for the next 2 years. Partial veto allows the governor to strike words, numbers, and even punctuation from bills. And so Evers slashed hyphens and numbers to change the end date from the 2024 to 25 school year to the year 24-25.
This veto helps, a small piece that gives us a little bit more of a idea of what we're able to fund. And it's predictable revenue, and that's what our schools deserve.
Now, in a statement to News 8 Now, Wisconsin Republican member Ryan Hipsch says the 4-3 court ruling is, quote, the first of many decisions where 4 liberal justices will be rewriting law in the matter they wish rather than the way it was written. Wisconsin's Department of Public Instruction will not sign a federal request on Title VI compliance. Title VI refers to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, preventing discrimination based on race, color, and national origin. Now, the Trump administration is attempting to withhold federal dollars from schools unless they get rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. DPI in a letter today says it will not submit a new certification request because the state's schools already comply with federal law. The state superintendent says the request amounts to federal overstepping.
We trust our educators to make those decisions. We trust the superintendents. We trust the locally elected school boards, the teachers, and in cooperation with parents, to make these decisions for our kids, not Washington, D.C.
Underly says any new grant conditions need proper notice and rulemaking procedures, which she says were not followed in the federal request. Federal dollars make up about 10% of all education spending in Wisconsin. Another Eau Claire candidate is entering the race for Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. Business owner and former Eau Claire City Council member Laura Benjamin is running to challenge Congressman Derek Van Orden. She is the 3rd Democrat to join this contest alongside Emily Berge and Rebecca Cook. Benjamin plans to launch her campaign with a town hall April 22nd at the Brewing Project. Today, Christians here and around the world marked Good Friday. This was the service earlier today at St. Joseph the Workman Cathedral. Good Friday officially commemorates the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. People also taking part in the 16th annual Justice and Peace Walk. The Franciscan Spirituality Center is behind it. The 2-mile prayer walk reflects on the journey of Jesus to his crucifixion. It started at the corner of Market and 9th Streets, and people of all ages and faiths were there.
As a first-time walker, I also look at the hope that highlights this kind of walk, highlighting the different stations that we'll be stopping at, bringing exposure to the challenges that are faced in our community and helping provide hope to them.
The walk from start to finish lasted about 2 hours. La Crosse's annual brush pickup is almost here. It begins on Monday. You are asked to bundle up your branches with cotton string, keep them under 4 feet and 50 pounds, and then have them at the curb by 7 a.m. Monday. The Isle La Plume drop-off site also accepts brush on weekends, Mondays, and Tuesdays. La Crosse's Cameron Park will host a temporary dog park this spring. City Council members voting to move it from Burns Park, which will now be used to host the farmers market starting next month. The seasonal dog park will open next month and then operate through August.
Well, as we look forward to Easter weekend, we have dry on Saturday, but Easter Sunday gets a little iffy. I think most of the day it looks good, but there are some questions on how fast the showers or rain does appear in the area. So that's why it's a little bit iffy. But for this evening, we still got a couple hours of maybe light showers, some mist out there. You know, Prairie du Chine's had some mist towards Bosquell area. Other areas up to the north have also had a little bit of mist, but low clouds really is the main issue. So you might see some of that for the next couple hours. We'll see decreasing clouds as we get past midnight. Overnight lows getting back into the 30s with that wind decreasing also. So all in all, pretty typical temperatures to wake up to. Tomorrow we'll have plenty more sunshine, especially towards the afternoon. A west-northwest wind will keep it a little bit cool. These are a few degrees below average, but all not too bad of a start to the weekend. Look at the temperatures here going all the way up to 50. Notice that wind northwest at 10, and the sunshine will be out at least by noon for La Crosse. And similar story for Eau Claire. That shower activity will be the next couple of hours. Otherwise, getting back up to about 47 with a west-northwest wind at about 10. Now, as I mentioned, dry start to the weekend. Unfortunately, it's going to be a very wet one to the end. It's just if it's going to impact a lot of activities on Sunday, and we'll explain all that a bit later.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Greg. Well, spring has sprung, and that means so have allergies. So, what can you do to treat those symptoms?
If you think you have or suspect you have a pollen or a mold allergy, changing your clothes. Sometimes people even take a quick rinse off shower just to get it off their body. And then use a little bit of saline in your nose can help just get rid of whatever's accumulated in your nose, just to get it out of your body, out of your nose.
Health officials say some of the other common ways to reduce symptoms is to limit exposure by staying indoors more, don't exercise outside in the evening when pollen counts are at their highest, and use the AC rather than open windows. Well, you have one more chance to shred any important documents for free. Tomorrow, Harder's Quick Cleanup will host the second day of its free shredding event. People can bring up to 100 pounds of sensitive documents for secure destruction at no cost.
Anyone in the community can bring in 100 pounds of shredding material for free. And it's just kind of our way to give back to the community.
Now, there will be a charge if you start shredding more than 100 pounds of material. Tomorrow's event will be at the Industrial Park on Larson Street, running from 8 a.m. until noon. A Florida State student's split-second decision may have saved her life. What she remembers from her hospital bed as a campus community mourns 2 dead in Tallahassee. After this.
We see you out there, building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like all men's, women's, and kids' Skechers. Buy one, get one half price. 25% off assorted spring styles for kids. And these men's or women's Muck brand shoes, $39.99 while supplies last. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, in original.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
The Florida State University community continues to mourn in the aftermath of Thursday's shooting, and we're hearing from one of the survivors. CBS's Katie Weiss reports from Tallahassee.
Madison Askins is lucky to be alive after her encounter with the gunman.
The minute I heard the shots, I took off running, as did my friend. Unfortunately, I tripped and fell, and when I was trying to get back up, he shot me in the rear end.
That's when Askins said she played dead to save her life.
So I released all the muscles in my body. I closed my eyes. I held my breath. I did everything I could to look like I was dead.
This video appears to show the alleged gunman opening fire as people ran for their lives.
2 people were killed and 5 wounded before the officers then injured the suspect.
Within 3 to 5 minutes, the situation was over. But the officers had already responded, already neutralized the threat.
Friday evening, a candlelight vigil capped a somber day on campus.
It's the kind of tragedy that shouldn't happen. Not here, not anywhere. We are heartbroken.
Still grieving, students and others returned to retrieve their belongings they left behind during the chaos.
It was horrible what everybody on campus had to go through. No student should ever have to go through that.
As for Askins, she managed to find humor as she heals.
I don't know if it's kind of funny now, but if you've ever watched Forrest Gump and he pulls his pants down and he says, "I got shot in the buttocks." That's what I got.
FSU canceled all home athletic events through Sunday, and Governor Ron DeSantis ordered flags across the state to fly half-staff until sunset on Monday. Katie Weiss, CBS News, Tallahassee, Florida.
The Social Security Administration cannot give DOJ sweeping access to sensitive records. That's the ruling by a federal judge this week. This new preliminary injunction extends previous restrictions placed on DOJ's access to Social Security data. The judge says the Trump administration hasn't made it clear why DOJ needs unfettered access to personal, sensitive, and private information of millions of Americans. This ruling sets the stage for the case to be appealed. The Trump administration wants to end funding for Head Start and for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. That's according to a draft of President Trump's budget proposal for the coming fiscal year. Head Start provides early education and other services to nearly 800,000 children, and the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program assists about 6 million households with their utility bills. It's part of a proposed plan to slash roughly a third of the discretionary federal health budget, eliminate dozens of programs, and greatly shrink health agencies. President Trump says his administration is making it easier to fire career government workers. Trump, writing on social media, the Office of Personnel Management will reclassify career federal workers as schedule policy career. Trump says that means they will no longer have a job if they, quote, refuse to advance the policy interests of the president or are engaging in corrupt behavior. The move follows an executive order Trump signed on his first day back in the Oval Office that intended to weaken federal employee protections. Measles is spreading in the U.S. Officials have confirmed more than 800 cases of the disease in 25 states. Texas has by far the most cases, although concentrated outbreaks were also reported in New Mexico and Oklahoma. The U.S. had declared measles eliminated in 2000. We'll have more news ahead, but first.
Yeah, Saturday is actually going to look not too bad. Unfortunately, we go throughout Sunday. The morning's fine, but by the afternoon and evening, especially evening and night, we're looking at showers and even thunderstorms coming into play. We'll time it all out for you and show how much rain we actually might get coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
For over 25 years, Window World's provided quality products for homeowners around the country, including windows and doors. Every window we sell is custom made for optimal energy efficiency and superior durability. Plus, a vinyl finish means they'll never need painting. Just like our windows, entry doors from Window World are made to last, featuring a durable fiberglass construction that provides up to 4 times the insulation value of wood. When it comes time for new windows or doors, trust America's exterior remodeler. Trust Window World.
Spring is here, and it's time for a fresh start. Right now at King Furniture, we're making it easy to refresh your home. Trade in your old furniture or mattress and get a discount on brand new furniture. We'll even deliver and haul it off for free. Find the latest styles in bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, and more. And save up to 60% off store-wide. Plus, enjoy free delivery and 12 months no-interest financing. There's never been a better time to upgrade. Out with the old, in with the new spring into comfort at King Furniture.
A home you love. A business that endures. It takes your vision, your hard work, and your dedication to bring them to life. The right tools help. Case IH truly understands your vision and what you need to achieve it. That's why we build the equipment, the local dealer and service network, and the data and tech you want today and tomorrow. Because we don't just build our equipment to work. We build it to work for you.
Visit any of your local Johnson Tractor dealerships, now including La Crosse and Richland Center.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions, your choice for quality, affordable windows, installed by our experienced team. Contact us or stop into our showroom today for your free estimate.
Yeah, tomorrow's actually not going to be too bad. It's still a little bit of below average. We should be around 60 for La Crosse, about 58, 59 for Eau Claire. West-northwest wind, plenty of sunshine, but not bad of a day really for this part of April. As we go into Easter, it gets a little bit more interesting, but the good news is most of the morning will be dry, 30s to near 50. Even in the afternoon, a lot of areas will remain dry, and that shower really chance starts to increase probably after 4 to 5 p.m. and further south you go, better chance, but it'll still be out there. And definitely by evening, you're going to be either steady rain or we even could have some thunderstorms now too as a possibility going on, and it just look wet until Monday morning. So overall, that's what we're looking at. If you kind of time out, there's your temperatures for Eau Claire going through the afternoon, about 54. That rain chance will probably be after at least 4 to 5 p.m. and for La Crosse. And as we go for La Crosse and Eau Claire, and I kind of skipped over that, basically that's probably going to be after 4 for La Crosse, 5 or 6 for Eau Claire. Now there is some uncertainty with it because where this low goes is kind of dependent on what we're going to be. Right now, if it tracks right over the area, we're going to have rain, maybe thunder, pretty heavy rains too. Now if it tracks west, which has been the trend lately to see it track further into Minnesota, Iowa, go up to Iowa and Minnesota, that increases the storm threat Sunday evening. It also brings in potentially severe weather a little bit closer to the area, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. If it continues to head east and goes into southeast Wisconsin or further east, we just get more in that steady light rain, stronger winds, cooler conditions too. But for right now, it's kind of in over the area or just to the west, but I am a little bit concerned if it heads more west, we might have some problems going on Sunday afternoon. And right now, here's what we're kind of thinking. Sunday, light rain 1 p.m. It's going to start spreading north. This will be a period of light rain all the way, maybe by 6 p.m. Eau Claire will get it. Kind of breaks in there, not still steady all type rain. And then here comes the interesting thing. Here's this line of potential thunderstorms. If this low tracks west, this line actually could be fairly strong coming up, but it is coming at night, so it may not be quite severe. Once this wraps up, then we get steady light to moderate rain some point over the area as this low basically lifts straight overhead. And then as we go throughout the night, we might actually get a little bit of snow mixing in for some areas. It depends how the track of the low is too. Won't be accumulation, but you might wake up with some flakes for some areas mixed in there. This precipitation will come to an end some point Monday, and that also is a little bit up in the air how quickly it'll end. But the good news, by the afternoon, it should be wrapping up and actually clearing out a little bit. So as we go into Monday, behind that system, you're going to see a pretty good drop in temperatures, low 50s, maybe even upper 40s. So it'll be quite cool and kind of breezy with that northwest wind. So not a great start to the work week given these temperatures. But the positive thing is going out next week, real warmer temperatures and a lot of rain with this potentially with this system. Some areas could pick up over 1.5 inches, so quite a good soaker. And where the heaviest is just depends on where that low tracks too. So a little bit uncertainty. So just stay tuned to this weekend, tomorrow especially, to see how the forecast updates. Otherwise, we do have warmer temperatures overall next week, but it's not a complete dry pattern either. We've got precipitation coming back and forth with several weak systems coming through. So keep an eye on Sunday. It depends on where that low tracks. It could get a little bit more interesting the further west it goes.
All right, something to keep in mind.
Yep.
Thanks, Greg. Coming up next in sports, 8 would be great. La Crescent baseball looking to continue its hot start to the season, plus the debut of Durbin. How the Brewers' newest third baseman factored into the series opener with the A's. Cade is next.
keeping you safe and ahead of the storm with current conditions and updated video forecasts from the local team that warns you first. The News 8 Now First Warn Weather app, giving you more than what you'd expect. Get it now. No, seriously, like, right now.
Save on Stressless by the truckload at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota. Every season, Stressless updates styles and leathers, but first, we need to make room. At Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota, we took advantage of big discounts on discontinued styles, leathers, and overstocks. Now we're passing a truckload of savings on to you. You'll find sofas, love seats, chairs, and ottomans, even power recliners, all at amazingly low prices. Don't delay. Quantities are extremely limited. Take advantage of truckload savings on Stressless, only at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community. Here's News 8 Now Sports with Kate Overton.
The La Crescent Lancers have been red hot to start the baseball season, 7-0 entering today, and they're climbing the AA rankings fast. Lancers up against Rushford Peterson this evening, top of the first. The Trojans striking first. Carson Johnson down the left field line. That's far enough to score Caden Lee. Another run safe at third. And then the very next batter, Caden Johnson, he's going to take a swing, send it out to right field. Now it's going to be an out, but a run scores on the sacrifice. Rush Pete goes up 2. Third inning, Lancers fighting back. Colin Fagan at bat, and he gets a good chunk of that pitch deep to center field. Off the wall, scores Alex Van Arks and Ethan Myrie on the RBI double. La Crescent takes the lead, and they wouldn't look back. They would hold on for the win 8-2. They improved to 8-0 on the year. The UWL Eagles stay hot, picking up 2 more wins today over UW-Eau Claire. They trailed by 3 in the 8th inning of Game 1, but would eventually win on a walk-off walk. UWL improves to 12-4 in conference play. These 2 teams go again tomorrow. MLB action, Brewers hosting the Athletics, and here's Caleb Durbin. Called up earlier today to play third. First at bat for the game for him, and Durbin has some wheels, beats out the throw from third, his first hit in the MLB. 2 batters later, Jackson Churio at the plate, and Churio puts some wood on that pitch over the left fielder's head. Durbin trying to score from first, and he slides in to give the Brewers a 1-0 lead. Next batter, and Christian Yelich keeps the rally going. He sends it out to opposite field. Churio comes in to score. Brewers lead 2-0. 7th inning, now 4-1. William Contreras lines one out to center, just does get down. Terang touches home as the Brewers pick up their 3rd straight win, 5-3 over the Athletics. The Twins down in Atlanta taking on the Braves. Scoreless in the 2nd, but Ryan Jeffers singles down the left field line. Carlos Correa rounds 3rd. He's in to score. Twins striking first. 3rd inning, nobody on for Trevor Larnach, but he doesn't care. Crushes this pitch deep to right for a solo shot. Twins up 3, but things would fall apart in the 8th. Now a 2-run game, and with the bases loaded, Michael Harris singles into right. This game's tied at 4. Next batter, and Drake Baldwin going to give the Braves the lead. Another single scores 2 more as Atlanta takes it 6-4 the final. Now, before we get to Easter weekend, a bunch of track athletes took over UWL for the Phil Eston Challenge. A few of UWL's track stars still ramping up for the outdoor season, but there was still plenty of action going on this afternoon. Let's go there. We had a ton of local athletes back in town, including former Central Riverhawk Leo Orlowski. At the high jump pit, he would clear 6'1" and a quarter. Only 2 jumpers had higher jumps. 110 hurdles, that's former Logan Ranger Avon Smith representing for Turbo. He would qualify for the finals in 15.11. 100-meter dash, here's a former Onalaska Hilltopper, Taylor Moling, representing UWL. She would finish her prelim in 12.25 and take 3rd in the final. Same race, Heat 3, former Cashion Eagle, Braylee Hyatt, representing the V-Hawks. She would finish her prelim in 12.55. And in the 400, former Wazeeka Steuben Hornet Seth Bunders, representing Ripon College. The freshman would finish in 50.09, good enough for 5th place. This weekend, playoffs officially get underway. The Bucks kick off action tomorrow at noon, taking on the Indiana Pacers on ESPN. It's a rematch of last year's first-round matchup, but the biggest difference this time around, Giannis is healthy and is looking like the best player in this series. But it's the Pacers who are the favorites to advance to round 2. In the Western Conference, maybe my favorite first-round matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the LA Lakers. Game 1 set for tomorrow night at 7:30 on ABC. Lakers the favorites to advance as they have LeBron and Luka, but something tells me Anthony Edwards isn't going to be scared at all. And the Stanley Cup playoffs starting this weekend as well. The Minnesota Wild taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Game 1 on Sunday at 9. The Wild haven't won a playoff series since 2015. But going back to that Brewers, how about Caleb Durbin? We talked about before the game. Yeah. Just give us something, and here he is. He had 2 hits in that game, and a 2-run scored. So, just give us something, and he did.
Yeah, third base has been a tough one offensively, so it's nice to see a little energy. And the adrenaline was going for your Major League debut.
Yes, he was. All right, we'll have more news after the break.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources now. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org.
I did know that back pain, foot pain come along with the job of waiting tables, but since getting the arch supports from the Good Feet store, I have had no pain. I'm more positive. It's like opening up a whole new life, like sunshine coming out.
See how we can help you too at the Good Feet store.
From the creators of bacon, Applewood smoked ham, ham and Swiss melts, 2 for $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
We have a very special bond, I think, as a family. Spectrum is the connecting thread to everything we do.
It provides us with reliability, lightning speeds, and allows us to do what we need to do in our lives.
From school to homework to entertainment, Spectrum's the perfect match for me and my family.
Fast, reliable internet starting at $30 a month, backed by the Spectrum commitment to keep you connected.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
You're watching News 8 Now. expect more.
A Minnesota zoo has welcomed a two-toed sloth, much to the surprise and delight of the guests who got to witness the rare moment firsthand. Adam Del Rosso has the story.
The time she chose was very surprising.
2 weeks ago, Como Zoo welcomed a new member to the family. Sago, a Hoffman two-toed sloth, gave birth in front of visitors.
She was right in front of the public, right in front of the glass, doing her thing.
A rare and unexpected moment.
Very emotional moment. You know, some people were in tears, like myself. Just kind of shocking.
The surprise birth has drawn big crowds from all over, some traveling as far as Phoenix.
I just can't wait to see its head. I've seen pictures of its head, and it's definitely smaller than what I was expecting.
But getting a look at the newborn might be harder than you think.
Mom doesn't give us very many glimpses. She's very protective. Baby comes out with mom. We have overnight footage that shows us she's clinging on really well.
And while zookeepers are taking a hands-off approach with the baby sloth, they are still checking in every day.
We do a lot of checks right away in the morning just to see how baby's hydration looks, whether or not we're seeing some nursing, and the biggest factor is whether or not she's holding on tight.
And for Ziggy, the father, he also takes a hands-off approach.
So his role happened 11 and a half months ago, and at this point he's kind of just background.
But he still likes to keep tabs, as much as Sago will let him.
After a couple seconds, she's ready to have her space again.
But in the coming months, the baby sloth will be ready for some space of its own. Until then,
a slight chance you might get to see a foot or a leg or a claw or something, but just the knowledge of in yourself, knowing that you're looking at a mother and a new life, essentially. You know, even if you can't see the baby, it's still there, and it's a very exciting experience for all of us, so we love to get to share that with everybody.
Absolutely precious. The baby sloth's gender has not yet been determined, but the zoo says its name will be revealed in the coming days. Greg's going to have one final check of your Easter weekend forecast right after this.
It's deer season.
Already? Nice knowing you. We gotta hide.
No, not that deer season. Deer season. It's that time of year when you can get $3,000 off at an authorized John Deere dealer.
A deer season that saves bucks?
That's right.
It's deer season, now through June 2nd.
Visit Tractor Central today to find out why nothing runs like a deer. Start now at TractorCentral.com.
It's a John Deere day.
Save on everything you need for Easter at Hy-Vee, Wednesday through Sunday. Get Cook's smoked ham portion, Hy-Vee canned corn or green beans, Hy-Vee butter, fresh Del Monte Gold pineapple, and save on Pepsi products. Plus, save on bakery fresh pies, delicious cinnamon rolls, decorated cookies, and brown and serve rolls. Save on everything you need for your holiday gathering in-store and online. Wednesday through Sunday. Only at Hy-Vee.
Welcome to the most honest commercial you've ever seen. Not the cleanest, just the most honest.
Today, we're fixing a home's foundation.
I mean, that is like the most common thing to see in the world.
Pretty common, yeah.
Right.
So it's the soil that's eroding away, causing those cavities, those voids that the foundation then wants to settle into.
And then you guys with your superhero capes show up and fix everything.
Yes, sir.
Get a free and honest inspection with Innovative Basement Authority, a groundworks company.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
All right, right, there's your highs for tomorrow. A little cooler than average, but all in all, not too bad given that we'll have some sunshine in the afternoon, just a west-northwest wind. Otherwise, Easter dry through most of the day. The shower chance starts to increase towards the afternoon time frame, kind of clip to that. It's going to get wet Sunday night. Could see some storms too, and then we dry out eventually later Monday. Next week overall, better than average, maybe 70. Unfortunately, it still remains kind of unsettled.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. Have a great weekend.